Hello, everybody. Whoa.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. I am Kat, the nurse flipper. I'm joined by my co-host, Sonny, Las Vegas. Below me is Chad from I Can Hustle All Day. And then Catty Corner is Esteban, Arizona Pickin'. So I'm going to make those two guys big, let them introduce themselves, tell you where you can find them. And then we will get to your questions. Get your questions in early if you want your questions answered. All right, here's Chad.
Oh, here I am. I'm big. I'm bigger than big. What's up, y'all? My name is Chad. You can pretty much find me on all platforms. TikTok, Facebook. I need to start posting here more. I'm a reseller. I've been reselling pretty much all my life. I mainly sell on Whatnot now, but I also have a pretty good size eBay store that's been kind of trickling down. But yeah, I've been pretty much selling all my life. And yeah, I'm originally from South Carolina, but I live in Texas. So yeah, just give me a follow everywhere and yeah, that's me.
And find
That's me.
Here's Esteban.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Esteban. I'm Arizona Pickin'. I'm not that old of a reseller. I've been reselling for a few years. I was born in Texas, but I've lived all across the Southwest, and I've lived here in Arizona for a while now. So I love reselling. I love buying storage units, and yard sales are my favorite thing to do. I just like finding really cool stuff and bringing it over to Whatnot. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and just started selling on Etsy. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, I said, whoa, what am I doing with, hold on, I'm turning off my camera instead of taking it. I hit the wrong button. I said it in my video that's coming out tomorrow. I just started selling on Depop. That's the platform I just added about 2 weeks ago, and I've got 2 sales so far. So I'm kind of on the fence still about it. I think I have like 200 listings up there, which for me is not much. But I'm just putting all my new stuff up there that applies anyways, because Depop, I'm just doing clothes, jewelry, and accessories. So all my collectibles are not going there. But I sold a watch in like 10 minutes for $60 on there. So I was just getting frustrated because all I'd sold is like an $11 pair of my old sweatpants. And then I sold the watch. So hopefully it will continue. All right. Hey, I had that too. It's not show. I know your name. But I don't know why it's showing up that way. Sent a $2 super chat and said to rank your top 3 ways to source 1, 2, and 3.
Is that for me?
Yep.
Chad goes first.
Oh, Chad, I can't see.
Sorry.
Now I can see.
Top 3 ways to source. I like to do bulk buying. I've been networking for years, so to get that text or call to come look in a house, or someone's bought a storage unit and they want to offload some stuff, to me, that's my number one favorite way of sourcing, is just having somebody call you, come look at this. Usually I'll just look at a few things, and if it's where they want to be at, I won't even look through the rest, and I'll just buy it on the spot. Second way, I'm enjoying the storage unit hunts. It's always full of treasure, also full of trash. It's a lot of work, but it's work that I enjoy and on the hunt for treasure. So it's kind of a challenge, but I do love storage units. And of course, I do like the it's either garage sales or estate sales. So I'm going to pick estate sales, because with the estate sales, to me, a lot of people say they're too high, but you can come back around, and like a lot of times estate sales, they may be too high, but you can come back and catch them on that second or third day and catch a deal because they didn't sell it off the rip. And I'm not the one that is rushing to get there. I'm pretty chill as sourcing, so I enjoy that. Plus, I also have some connections within the estate sale company, so that helps too for pre-sales and post-sales. So it's always networking for me that helps me.
Yeah, and Chad likes to give the little old ladies a wank, and then they sell them all the stuff. But
Yeah, that too.
so for me, my favorite is yard sales. I love yard sales. Arizona is full of yard sales when it's this season. In the summer, we don't have yard sales. And then I love going to the flea market. I used to go live at the flea market, and I find a lot of good stuff here. I started buying storage units. Like I went in like strong at the beginning of the year. So that would be like my third best sourcing method.
Lately, because I've mostly been at the hospital, and although I'm not doing much, it feels like a lot. And I feel like the only power I have is using my smartphone. So I've been on Facebook Marketplace, and it's been some of my biggest scores. I've seen a place down the road through Facebook Marketplace, which had all the Looney Tunes and vintage ornaments. I bought that for like $90, over 250 of them. That ended up making me over $1,000 with a few shows on Whatnot. And then I came across, because that show did so good, and that wasn't even a promoted one. I went on back on Facebook Marketplace. There was a place 5 minutes down from the hospital for $100. I just said, I'll give you $100 for all of your Christmas ornaments. That made me another 1,000. And so far, like those two things have been pushing me along since I haven't been physically able to go. But when I get free from the hospital, I am planning on doing storage units, but I know I need to commit to being prompt on time. More than likely, I not more than likely, but I'm going to jump back on knickknacks with my good glass and stick with what works on each platform. As of right now, I got rid of eBay listings, and I'm going to start over and just do apparel, because my glass items, there's just always issues on eBay for me and headaches, and I don't have problems with that. So Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to get back to yard sales, and hopefully see what the third one ended up being with storage units. Hopefully that works out.
Yeah, for me, number one is going to be online auctions. That's where I source over probably 85% of my inventory. And then second would be thrift stores. Third, probably garage sales. I like my weekends though. Like I go thrifting during the week. I like to have the weekend. I'm a big football fan, so I need to sit in front of the couch. I guess I could go early because most of the games don't start till like noon or 1. But yeah, and where I'm at to get to like any amount of yard sales to make it worth it, I have to drive an hour because I'm in the middle of nowhere. So it would be a lot of driving to hope that I find stuff at yard sales. So my two main are online auctions and then thrift stores. All right, I'm gonna do my octopus. Here you go. Dun dun dun. All right. Let's see. I think Miss Elena, my good friend, Treasure Diva Thrift, sent $1.99 super chat as well. She was. When were you at my house? Yesterday. She was just at my house yesterday or the day before. My days get jumbled. I tried to get her to buy some of the Starbucks tumblers and it didn't work. It did not work. I tried. All right. She likes the kitty cat one, so she gets kitty cat. Oh, and Gino is not in here. Gino let me know he has to go pick up a friend from the airport, so he will not be in here tonight. He let me know. All right. Linda wants to know on Whatnot, what does pinning an item do or what does it mean? So she's brand new to selling on Whatnot. She's been asking us some Whatnot questions the past couple of weeks. I don't know if Linda, have you done your first sale? Let us know. So she's asking what pinning means.
So you just go on your, like when you're live, you go on your shop, there's a button you can click and you can find whatever item you want to pin for auction or buy it now. And it shows at the bottom of the screen for everybody to see. And from that, you can either start your auction or you can, if it's a buy it now, you can run like a flash sale. But yeah, you just go in your shop and just it'll give you a option to hit pin.
Yeah, I think that pretty much answers it. It's just, like do you have to pin it to run it? I think you have to pin it to run it. Or you can just run without
No.
pinning.
Yeah, you can just run.
without pinning.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess just a habit. Like I always pin and then run.
Well, I do more of this random pull type style, so it's probably best for like people who preload. I just do mainly random, so I just next.
Yeah, that's what I do with my jewelry. With my jewelry, I just hit next and run. But like tonight, like with the Starbucks tumbler, so I knew who got what, I had to take a picture and do like the quality listing so we know what shipped to who. And those, like after I save it, it asks me if I want to pin it, and I just pin it. All right. Constance says, I just got my first monthly seller statement from eBay. They do not show the final value fees, but they do show the promoted listing fee. Is that normal? It seems wrong.
Yeah, y'all might have to answer that because I'm so out of touch with eBay right now.
Okay, let me see. So just got my first monthly seller statement from eBay.
I got this.
You got it?
Yeah, so you go to my eBay. You go to my eBay. You click on account. There's going to be a little tab on the top, and then you could go to your seller account. And if you want this answer, just private or message me here at the bottom of the thing or on my post on YouTube. So my eBay, you go to your account, and then you go to all seller account, and then all transactions. I'm going to type it inside here so it's in order. So when you do that, you should see a listing of all your items. Now, I may show you your labels and the item itself, but not the actual sold item. So it may not show fees on everything, but it will show for the item that's sold, just not your labels, because you don't get fees from that. So I'll put that in the chat, and you could see it from anything that you're looking for, or even use a search engine to find what exactly, if there's a particular thing you're trying to find the fees for.
Perfect. Yeah, and I am horrible about I don't ever look at my fees because I do money in, money out. So, and I promote high. Like my eBay fees are thousands of dollars a month, but I mean, we're almost at $20,000 this month in sales. So, you know, I mean, it's to be expected, but I have been lowering my promoted rate because before the change in January, I'm hoping to get it down a couple more notches, but I don't want to do it fast so they knock my listings down. But yeah, I never pay attention. Let's see.
You probably see them names.
Is that Miss Linda? It's showing people's like name instead of their name. What sections of a thrift store in order do you go to first?
Me personally, I'm not a huge thrift store person, but when I do, I go straight to the I think I go straight to the toy section.
Yeah, for me, I haven't been thrifting, but I was like a serious thrifter last year, and I would go straight to the back to one of the employees and and just ask them when the next cart was coming out.
This dude be
And
riding the carts, y'all.
yeah, exactly. As soon as the cart, but I love electronics. That's like my favorite.
AZ reminded me of this lady, and there's people like that here in Las Vegas. Certain Goodwill will have certain people that come in that know people on the other side of the wall, and I would literally see this one lady. The cart's only like so far from her, and she's on the phone like, I see it, it's right here, I'm about to get it. Just tracking the cart as it's coming in is like, oh my gosh, like they might as well hand it to you, you know, when they cross the doors, because you already have this plug, you know. It's like it's not even incognito. But the first thing I like to do is go to the hard goods of like home decorations and figurines. And then I work my way around to the sporting goods, because that corner on this one Goodwill is usually the arts. And then I'll go across the beautiful lamps. Anybody who knows me knows I love lamp. And I work my way across things like pillows, because people have been saying, do you get into pillows? Have you looked into pillows? And there's this other guy, Justin, Rivera. He's from out in Hustle Man. I think Kat might know the username. So
Yeah, I met him in Phoenix, Jonathan.
yeah, we met him out in Phoenix. He was like, you need to look at pillows. And sure enough, like he found like this $80 pillow within seconds. He was like, yeah, look at this stuff. So these are little things where I'm finding where I get to one point to another is I like certain things, but what am I not looking at? What can I maximize my time on for? So the last things would be next would be apparel, and then it would be now like toys. Looking into that because more and more people are looking for it. And I'm trying to be an everything seller on every platform, just about. So it's pretty much my order everywhere I go in thrift stores.
I don't have one. It really depends on the store because most of the stores I know, and I know like what sections they have good stuff in. So some of them I might go to the hard goods first, and some of them I might go to clothes first. But there's no, like, I am one of those people, I cover a thrift store from end to end. I look at everything in the store. So really just based on like my prior knowledge is where I go first. If it's somewhere I don't know, I typically will go to the hard goods, like the collectibles and glass before I go to the clothing. Cause I feel like everybody is always looking at the clothing. So I'll go to glass first, but I don't do a ton of glass and breakables anymore, to be honest, just because of like the shipping time. So unless I can find breakables that are, $50 or higher, I'm not touching them. But yeah, so it depends on the store. Karen wants to know, how does authentication work for gold jewelry? Is it sent automatically to eBay? Authentication when it sells? She's saying she has items from the 60s and 70s that aren't branded but are marked 14 karat.
I've never personally sold gold on eBay, but first I would actually go get it tested, or either you test it or get somebody to test it. And then, yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, I haven't sold gold on eBay either. I have a few pieces on there. I'm not sure if it goes through authentication, but I usually sell my gold. Like I have a gold guy that I sell to, unless it's a really good piece.
I just bought a kit off of Amazon, and it's the ones where you use the acid test, and it goes all the way from like silver to platinum.
Yeah.
I have that, but I don't want to be scuffing up things because that does make a difference on certain stuff. And for jewelry, I will say Arizona Picking down here, Esteban finds the most amazing jewelry that I see. So does Chad on they show it on Whatnot, and they're started off whatever. But I want to upgrade to this machine that tests jewelry and different types of jewelry, and it's around, I think, like up to $600. So it's going to take me a few Whatnot auctions, and as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, like I tell people time and time again, I don't like just pulling money out of my account. I like to use my reselling to get me to that goal that keeps me like on my toes and want to push forward, and not just say I could just take it out of my account. I feel like in a way like I have this practice. Let me keep pushing myself to work towards things, and not just I'm just a reseller, because there's more to being a reseller than just that. Because again, I don't want to jeopardize the integrity of something that's pristine, and then now I have this scuff mark that for somebody may be like, I don't like it,
Yeah. So I think it has to be. It depends on the category, and I think it has to be over 500 for. I've sold gold on eBay and they did not authenticate it. But I agree, you need to test it. You need to know that that is real before you list it. That's not eBay's responsibility. That's yours. So a lot of jewelry stores will test it for you for free because they want to buy it. But they aren't going to like force you to sell it to them. We have a jewelry store that'll test everything we want for free. We also have Presidium though to test for gemstones and diamonds, and then we use a scratch test for the gold. So I would just order that scratch test. It's super easy. There's plenty of YouTube videos on like how to do it. But you don't want to list it until you know that it's real, because the worst thing they want is a buyer to get it and tell you that that it's fake. But the last 2 or 3 gold items I sold on eBay did not go to authentication. All right. Itchy Farm Treasure sent a $1.99 super chat. I'm gonna do Sonny just so I don't know if the guys have seen it. Here you go.
If only y'all could see Chad's face on the background. Ladies and gents, let me introduce these two guys again, but my version. I met or came across Chad on TikTok over a year ago, and soon after with AZ Picking, and they just been the most genuine, fun guys, and they have like the craziest like connection, along with like JT Entertainments inside the chat and other ones, Salvi's in here, and it's just a really fun group. And I've been talking about these two guys, especially Bearded Thrift, about these other resellers on other platforms, because we get stuck in this comfort zone of like, I'm just a YouTuber, or I just follow YouTube people, when it's like there's so much amazing people out on the other platforms. And I keep hyping y'all up and tell people what you're doing on Thursdays, the Ray Trains, and now you're helping people when they don't really have to. Just like Kat doesn't have to do this either. She could just use this time to focus on her business, but that's the selflessness of these amazing people that I really love, and I'm always going to stand by, and I really admire them. And with the jewelry that they come across, back to that, to segue back into it, like the jewelry that they come across is not just like $10, $15 jewelry. AZ had this really beautiful vintage patina turquoise silver bangle bracelet sitting in the background, and it sold for what, around $200 or $300, something like that. And it wasn't the only thing. Like they push some serious stuff, and they just do it really easy. It's not like a car salesman. It's just easygoing guys, as they do here. But Chad is always talking about my hair and making fun of me. So when my hair was whipping on this thing that Gino made, like I like that look from friends, that you could laugh at each other and with each other at the same time. So I just want to say I love you guys. Y'all mean a lot to me.
I just want to slap in the face with that hair, boy.
Love you too, Sonny.
Love you, boy.
Funny.
I'm like,
Yeah,
slap
like
me with it.
Ellen, Treasure Diva Thrifts was a viewer of mine, and I met her to go thrifting, and now we're good friends, and like she comes to the house. So I'm like, it's amazing how like, and it's funny because I used to raise chickens, and I had like all my chicken friends, and now it's been like YouTube friends, like depending on what you're doing. But a couple of the chicken friends have hung around, like they're still my close friend. But you know, when you're doing stuff with people the same in the community, you have stuff in common, you have stuff you can talk about, especially when you throw in YouTube and reselling. So it's crazy, like the season life. I'm like, oh, I miss some of my chicken friends, but I don't raise chickens anymore, so we have nothing to talk about really anymore, you know. So they kind of fade away. They're still faithful friends, but we don't talk. I love my chicken friends, and it's funny because my main one, she is still a good friend of mine, and I buy glass for her all the time because I know what she likes. And she actually sends me marketplace stuff that she thinks I would like to bulk buy. So we've kind of stayed throughout it. And yeah. All right. Miss Karen said she's new to selling on Etsy. So she's listing vintage jewelry, collectibles, glass, and figurines. What are her tips? And so if you don't sell on Etsy, just pass. She's asking for tips for selling on Etsy.
Yeah, I have not crossed that to Etsy yet, so not me.
So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm a new seller on Etsy, and the only reason I got on Etsy was because the cross lister I use, which is Nifty, has Etsy, so I'm able to cross list items. I haven't made a sale there yet, but I know you can only put like certain items on there, like vintage or handmade items. I'm still learning, but I'm excited for those sales.
I don't have anything on Etsy. I have not sold on there in years.
So let me look at my thing real quick. Let's see where we're at for Etsy for the month. So come on. For Etsy for the month, I'm almost at 2,000. So not horrible, but that's comparing to 20,000 on eBay. So Etsy's 10% of eBay sales for me. the biggest thing for me was when I started using List Perfectly's AI Express Lister. It makes keywords and hashtags that go into the Etsy listings. And when I was doing them myself, I did not do hashtags or keywords, and I've noticed an increase in sales. And some of my friends that are like primarily Etsy, they say that hashtags and keywords is the way to get them. I like AI Express Lister because I'm not good at coming up with like what's trending, and it like pulls it out for me, and I don't have to worry about it. And it puts them on Mercari and Posh too, which I think helps as well. So for me, most of my Etsy sales are vintage jewelry. And I only put stuff that typically is $50 or higher. And so vintage over 20 years, $50 or higher is my main thing. And then I also put like my Native American stuff, like my Kachina dolls and things like that, I put on Etsy. We just sold some vintage decorations in a day on Etsy, and I had them at $40, and I normally don't do it unless it's 50. And I was like, I think these need to go on Etsy, and they sold in less than a day. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I like cut my, threshold. LaDonna is a good one. I'm going to put that up here. Bayou Belle Ventique. She has been on with us before. She's a primary Etsy seller. LaDonna, do you do any Etsy, videos? I know you do other ones, but I don't know if you do Etsy ones. And then Handmade and Beyond, which he is best friends with Rod. He does only Etsy as well. So he's another one. He's been on before too, that is primary Etsy. I'm happy with my $2,000. I make like 20,000 a year on Etsy, and I mean, I'm okay with that. It's a secondary platform for me. She wants to initiate these gentlemen to Kevin. So close your eyeballs and
Get your Visine.
Here goes.
Uh-oh. Bro.
Oh, fun to watch people's response to that one.
Kevin, is Kevin in here?
That's why.
He's lurking in the back.
That was hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he comes in sometimes. I saw him 2 weeks ago. I saw him. He was in Mount Dora at the antique fair here in Florida. And me and Jocelyn were hanging out, Crazy Lamp Lady, and we tracked him. He sent Jocelyn his location, and we tracked him. But yeah,
I met him in Nashville. Yeah, he's pretty cool fella.
All right. Kathy says, how is shipping figured out when someone buys more than one of the same item? Does eBay calculate the shipping?
I was shipping figure when somebody buys more than one of the same item. So what I personally, when someone buys more of one of the same item, I'm gonna pass while I think about this. Y'all know.
So, yeah, eBay calculates it for you. And I'm not sure if you're talking about if you have an item of like with multiple quantities. If that's what you're talking about, eBay will calculate the shipping and it'll bundle those items.
Yeah, to add to that, you could also set it up on that listing if somebody buys more than one or three or two or whatever, that you could discount that as well. So that's when I am on eBay. As of yesterday morning, I removed everything from eBay to start over with apparel that I have brand new tags like Joe Jeans and Not Your Daughter's Jeans. So I'll be starting over on that and doing that when I'm talking about adding these little discounts to these things that have multiple items of the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't feel like they figure it out right a lot of times. Like I've had buyers the problem is for me, like I sell the designer boxes, and a lot of, if they buy multiples, it goes to an oversized box. and eBay will only charge by the weight, and then it ends up being like $40 or $50 more than what eBay charges them. So that can be a problem. Just beware. If it's something that like multiples could make it go into oversized, that has, yeah. See, Lisa just said, I sold some plates today, but it does not increase the box size. That's the problem, is it thinks that 10 boxes that don't smush are going to fit in the same size box that one is, and it's not. So I have kind of taken a hit on that because I got my boxes so cheap, but yeah. And I don't do a ton of multiples. My designer boxes are really the only thing. So what I typically tell everybody, if it's not like multiple of the same item, I'll tell them to pay for it, and then I will send them a refund for the overage. And that's how I've been doing it, because eBay has the required payment for a lot of people now. And so they can't like buy it and then you send them an invoice like you used to be able to. They have to buy it and then you have to refund them the overage. Yeah, calculated shipping on eBay can be like a hot mess, especially bigger stuff. So I just got a question. I have a golden retriever blow mold. It is really big and shipping is going to be a lot, but they said it was $190, which if they're in California or in Vegas, that might be true because it's like a 4-foot blow mold and shipping rates are crazy for oversized stuff. But I always tell them if I can find it cheaper, I will do it. What sucks is I've noticed that like FedEx and UPS, their estimated is way over what you end up paying. So buyers see like a crazy amount. I wish it would like show a closer amount but I quit giving the discount because we get charged fees. And if you pass on the discount, then it jacks that up. I think there's a way to do percent, but I haven't figured that out yet. Oh, nice. See, mine wasn't that fast. Farmville Picker says, I just started Depop this week and got a sale today. For those of you that sell on Depop, from what I am seeing that it's mostly lower dollar items. Is that true? If you're a Depop seller, I sold the $60 watch, but then I sold $11 sweatpants. But when I am listing my jewelry, it shows like similar items that have sold. They're all like $10 and $15 on pieces that I'm like 60, $100 on. So I'm wondering, like, I don't know if it's going to be worth my time. I'm going to keep trying probably for a couple months and see if I get more sales. But from what I saw, it seems like it's lower end, and I try and do minimum of 25, so it might not be the best fit for me. Darlene is asking to search online auctions. So I will tell you, I have, I think, 3 videos on how to source on online auctions. HiBid is my absolute favorite one, and people yell at me because I share it and they think I shouldn't share it. I will tell you, you will never hear come out of my mouth what auctions I buy from, and I do have 3 that I buy from every single auction. You will not hear that from me. I'm not that ridiculous. I go over like there are like 5 main different auction sites. I use Proxybid a lot as well. I picked up 2 online auction buys today from Proxybid. But it depends on your area. So I do live sourcing. I have live sourcing tomorrow night and my $9.99 membership, and I will look for you in your area. And I love spending other people's money. That's like honestly my favorite membership perk because I get to go looking for stuff for you. So it depends on where you're at. My California people, it is hard as heck to find anything on HiBid that is not industrial. So we have to do max sold and what is the other one? CT bids as well. But California people have to pay more. Like I've learned that just like from sourcing for people. The prices in California for local pickup are crazy high. And I think everything in California is crazy high. But you can get it shipped. I don't do shipped sourcing in my lives because anybody in the chat could then go bid against each other. So I only do it local to you. I won't do it for shipped because if I'm going to search for shipped, I'll search for myself. So yeah. All right. What kind of search on Facebook Marketplace are you guys doing if you're sourcing from Facebook Marketplace? Karen saying she finds it overwhelming. Do you just search for your local area?
I do mainly local area, but I have sourced within like an hour range. So it's not that great in my area. So I don't get a ton of marketplace deals. It's loaded with resellers also, and they're just a lot of them just I don't even know if they're really technically resellers or they're just wanting to be resellers and they're just ridiculously high. So I don't use it a ton, but I do catch a deal here and there. So it's usually local for me.
Yeah, I search around my area, but I use OfferUp more than like Facebook Marketplace. I seem to find better deals on there in here in Phoenix. Um, but yeah, you can find some good stuff on there sometimes.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, just recently I made $200 in over $2,000, and that's just selling on Whatnot. And I still have probably like 50 more ornaments that I haven't even gone through or more. So I still money to be made. I've noticed on OfferUp, I'm glad Esteban brought that up. OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, I try to remind everybody about this. Don't use words exactly like resellers because then you're going to find reseller listed items at top dollar. You want to look at just basic wordings, or for example, here in Las Vegas, I use isn't just English. I also look up how it's written in Spanish, and I'm not good with Spanish. So if you're thinking like, I don't know Spanish, you got a smartphone or you have a computer, say, how is this on there? And look up things as simple as old stuff, grandma stuff, eBay, things like that. And you'll be amazed what you find. One thing I like about OfferUp is that I find a lot of listings that are old listings from years ago, and people reply to those really fast compared to new listings that you think they listed it, you're interested, they're going to message you back, and then they don't. It's like a hit or miss. But I like both of these platforms looking for things. And oftentimes I've been very fortunate, again, being at the hospital, where even people say in the comments, must pick up, right? Everybody wants the items to be picked up to make it easier on you. But I've been very fortunate. The past handful of people recently have been saying, I'll bring it to you where you at. And it's like 30-minute drive for some of them. And they're just happy to sell it and make it convenient for me without me even asking. So far, Facebook Marketplace has been my number one place to source from. But I love OfferUp as well, because as a seller, I've done better on OfferUp with items of $300 or more, which I was really scared at first. But as soon as they got the item, I would see the review as nothing but positive, and then they even message saying thank you. And on Facebook Marketplace, on the other hand, selling stuff on there is entirely different. It's always like haggled down to the bottom, ridiculous, wasting my time dollars. So I just leave with my toe between my legs.
I want to know if anybody is still selling on Facebook Marketplace shipped. I haven't done it in years because I got banned because of my mother, but like, because I can cross post to there. But I want to know if anybody is actually doing good on Facebook Marketplace shipped. It was annoying with all the spammers to me. But I did do decent on sales before I got banned, but I have a second account that I can use. So for me, I don't search on Marketplace a lot because my area doesn't have a ton of good stuff that I've seen. But like I was saying earlier, my chicken friend, she's like, hey, Kat, I see that like she saw 50 paperweights on Marketplace. I wanted like 250. So then I have to switch to my account. I'm not banned on Marketplace because my main one I am. And I messaged him and told him I'd give him $200. It was the day before, and this kind of soapbox thing for me. You guys will laugh. I told him I would give him 200. He said, okay, he'd take it. And I said, okay, well, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'll come on Friday morning. And he said, okay. And so I made sure I messaged him Thursday night on Thanksgiving, like just to keep, contact with him. So Friday morning when I'm supposed to go, I message him and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you. Somebody picked him up last night. And I'm thinking, well, I would have went on Thanksgiving if I thought he was okay with somebody, coming on a holiday. And like, if I was the first one, why didn't you say, hey, somebody said they come get him tonight. Can you? So I was irritated. I was frustrated because I'm all about like ethics and like for me, like first come, first serve. Like I just didn't because of Thanksgiving. I would have even paid him. Like he could have said, hey, could you send me a payment to hold him? I would have done that. But here's the ironic thing. So I was like frustrated because he wasn't answering me. And my boyfriend says, hey, I messaged that guy on Marketplace about the paperweights and he answered me. And I'm like, oh, did he? And so he said, oh, I'm talking to somebody about him. So then Saturday, he messages my boyfriend, hey, man, you still want the paperweights? I said, tell him no. I said that, or tell him you'll meet him and we're not going to show up. Because I'm like, that pissed me off. Like I messaged him soon as he listed them. I wanted to buy them. If he wanted the full 250, tell me that. I would have paid it.
Yeah.
I just, but like to do that. And then he's messaging, so he tells me somebody picked him up, they're gone. And then he messages my boyfriend, hey, you still want them? I'm like, I'm not giving that dude my money. I could have made a lot of money on him, but I'm not giving him my money. Like, I don't care. So like stuff like that on Marketplace and driving to meet people and then they don't show up, that I'm like, ugh. Like, so I will have people like come to the house. But and then you're like, okay, you're bringing somebody to your house, but here where I'm at, there's nowhere like 5 minutes up the road I can meet somebody. So I have to drive, 10, 15 minutes both ways. And for somebody to not show up, I just wasted like an hour if I wait 15 minutes for them to show up. So that's what drives me nuts. Sonny, I need to go inside for like 5 minutes to see Dalton. Can you grab some? Oh, not the first one, because that's for me, but maybe will you grab something and I will be back in like 5.
Yeah, I'll find one here. Let me look at the questions. How authentic do you work for gold? What do you think gold? What do you think of Goodwill bins? We'll try with this one.
What is it again?
What do you think of the Goodwill bins?
So my first experience was in Nashville. It was a reseller meetup. It was actually my first Goodwill bins experience, and it was a big one too, and it was pretty crazy. But I loved every minute. I was in there digging and playing and elbowing people, and there were some people that can be a little disrespectful, but for the most part, you can like pop somebody and look at them, laugh, and I enjoyed it. I don't have one close to me besides maybe a couple hours away, and I plan on making a trip and doing it again because I actually enjoyed it. Now, when I visited South Carolina, I went again up in North Carolina, and it was, I noticed there's different types in different places. So, but I enjoyed it. I want to do it again.
Yeah, our Goodwill bins is pretty wild, man. I there's a lot of people that post videos from our Goodwill bins here in Arizona. And I used to go there. I haven't been in a while, but when I would go there, I've gotten close to getting in a fight there with a couple people. Like they're serious about their bins. Like if you get too close, they're like, "Hey man, back up." And you're like, "Hey, I'm just here to try to get something, And I would dive in. Like our bins had those cardboard boxes. They were like kind of high. And I went live one time and I was in there. I'd like dove in that thing.
I've seen some crazy stuff. I'm going to call them out. Carry American Arbitrage. I wasn't there when it happened. I must have just missed it. But he had told me some guy got in his face. He wasn't recording, but I think he was being accused of recording. But it's only because they recognize Carry American Arbitrage. And nobody's ever tested me that way. Not that I'm asking for it, but the second time I went to the Goodwill bins with part of the Trash the Cats people was in Arizona, and they were content creators, so we all went inside there with our GoPros and our phone, and it's hard not to see it. And soon enough, Rod Picking and Punching was like, "Hey man, like they're kicking us out." And I'm like, they're not kicking me out. I wasn't with y'all. I knew better. Like you just know better when you have a group of friends that are getting eyes, and everybody's turning their head. I just went, smart guy went this way. So they were told and approached by several people. First, it was more like comments of like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Which they knew, right? But it was like a warning. It was their way of saying like, stop doing that. This is our pretty much territory, and people are pretty territorial at these places. And soon enough, Kevin comes by me and he's like, "Hey, we're getting kicked out of here," you know. So they got kicked out. And I was the last one. I ended up finding some really good things. And the Goodwill bins, I would say, not just about these stories, but what I liked about the Goodwill bins and the opportunity about it is that you could really stretch a dollar by weight. You could find a lot of little things. I found vintage fluorescent UV glass, like little swans. I found uh not McAllister, but it was like Alexander McQueen t-shirts, brand new with tags, and comforters where don't want to look at because there's like bed bugs or something, you know. But I just seen like this beautiful white fabric that didn't belong in this mess of comforters. And I just pulled it up, still had the tag, and I showed it off, you know, to the other people that are looking at me like, you're not going to find anything. I found some very valuable boots, Cayman boots, and it's a good way to start, you know, if you don't have uh, nothing other than like time and a couple of bucks, and you just learn how to research and you make connections there too. So there's a lot of potential with Goodwill bins, but there is what AZ said and what Chad was saying, that there are some people that will pretty much elbow to elbow reach over you, and if you let them do it, you know, like, are you gonna? This is the weird thing. Like, do you tell on them to the people, and then you're that person, you know, or like do you let it get out of hand overs, and then you just become that one person? Because everybody knows everybody just about. And not to brag, but when I go to the Goodwill bins, which is seldomly, people do recognize me, but it's welcoming, you know, nobody really gives me a hard time. And I think like I'm always that one person that don't like to do the elbows to elbow and reaching over. I don't like that aggressiveness because that brings out a different beast out of me. So I just tend to be trailing in the back, and I still find amazing things from Ryan Spooner t-shirts, Lululemon quality ones, not the like the mall fast lower grade ones, but I find some really good stuff often, and it's just willing to take the time to look and learn. Let me see what else we have. I sourced from Kat and Slipper on Whatnot in February. We could talk about Whatnot, hype you up some more on Whatnot. So this is mostly just a statement from Big Sky Jewelry, who picks jewelry. Came across her about a year ago on Facebook, I believe, and she's very much into jewelry. And there's some things when people talk about being tested. How do y'all test it for your Whatnot shows? And also, like, is that one of your best selling things? Because I feel like both of y'all do really good with jewelry.
Well, I'm waiting on my tester, but I don't never sell really gold on Whatnot. I do still sell sterling, and if it's marked, but I'll just sell it marked, untested. But usually you can tell if it's legit, because a lot of times it's the vintage sterling. And but yeah, I don't mind selling costume either, because there's some good costume jewelry out there. But I love selling jewelry. I love buying bulk jewelry and just either selling by pieces, and I sell bulk myself. I'll bulk up a lot up different stuff, and I'll sell silver with I like buying jewelry boxes and making lots and just selling them that way. And plus it's easy to ship, so.
Yeah, I love the jewelry, man. I don't I don't know if it's like our top seller on Whatnot, but it is one of my favorite things to sell, just because like what Chad said, it's so easy to ship. And if I have time, I will try to test the items, but I'm always so busy with cleaning units and doing everything else. But I try to mention it, if I don't test it, then I'll just let you know that it's marked untested, and I'll run it as is. You might get a little bit less for the item, but like Chad said, people know, when it's a good piece.
Yeah, you could tell after, and I would say that's experience. Sometimes it's not so much of like it's gold, because sometimes silver doesn't sell more than a costume jewelry that isn't a valuable like metal, right? And I see that all the time on Whatnot, especially. Uh, Kat, I was just asking them what their top things were on jewelry, if it's a pretty good thing on whatnot. And I know Kat sells a lot of jewelry. That's where I try to learn from her. But my biggest struggle with jewelry isn't so much of like the metals or describing it. It's more of the colors. I can't tell the colors, which gives me a hard time knowing what gemstone, what I'm looking at.
I don't really, I mean, I know you've seen mine. I'm fast.
Mhm.
Like I run 15-second auctions. I do 100 in less than 2 hours. I don't really talk about the colors though. I'm kind of like, here, it's what it is. The big thing I think, like so here's the thing, and this is what I ran into in 2022 and 2023. And I talked about this before, because I sold 250,000 both years, 2022 and 2023 on Whatnot. And those numbers are entirely deceiving. eBay numbers can be said the same thing, right? Because you're seeing the gross amount, just like your lovely paychecks. And so I could have $5,000 shows in 2 hours when I first started on Whatnot. And it was sterling, it was named, but people were paying. So what happened though, as it got oversaturated, is people weren't paying for those same named items, but I was still having to pay up to get them. And so in order to make that 250, I was spending at least 150. Like, and I mean, yeah, that's still 100 grand. I don't think it was even that though. And it got to where I'm like looking at the numbers and I'm losing money. So yeah, it looks great. I had a $2,000 sale, but I spent $1,500 on that. Whatnot just took, 200 plus in fees. Now I'm down to $100, $150, and I had to spend $1,000 to make it. And I'm like, it was too much. And that's why I quit Whatnot in 2023. I just went back this year. So for me, it's hard because I can get quality items. I can get named items. And I talked about this too. I think it's like a personal fight with myself that I don't want to start stuff higher. Like I like starting my sterling at like $5 or $10, but that's what I pay. Like that's low end what I pay. Some of the stuff I'm paying, $30, $40. And I have a lot of friends that start their stuff at say $75. I don't know why. I feel like nobody will bid if I'm not starting at super low, but that's not true because I see other people starting at higher and I see stuff selling. So for me, that's been kind of the hardest thing. So I do better with costume because I can get it so cheap. I'm fine starting it at $3, and if people watch me, if I know that people are willing to pay for quality and I see like quality costume going up, I will throw in sterling at a $3 start because I know that I have people in the audience who know what they're looking at and that it will get bid up. And the problem, so I had Shannon she was doing Whatnot the majority of the year. And it's easy when you aren't the one who bought the stuff. You don't know what you paid. I know what I paid. So me putting something I paid $20 for in front of you for $3, I'm cringing. You can't see me, but I am cringing because I'm like, oh, if it sells for $3. And I mean, like the overall should be good, but a lot of times it's not. So yeah, it's funner to bid on a low start, but what happens when nobody bids? And I spent 20, it sold for $3 and I'm getting 2, I just lost $18. So it like with her, I think I actually was probably losing money because she was lotting a lot of stuff up. So she would do like a necklace, earrings, and a bracelet set and started at $3. Well, my average cost on most costume is $1 to $2. So if I pay $2 a piece, she puts in 3 pieces. That's $6 I'm in. She's starting it at $3. So she'd be like, oh yeah, I had this great sale. But if I really broke that down and look at the numbers, I'm losing money. So it's hard. Like the Starbucks cups today, I probably made, the dollar ones, I lost money because I did $1 on ones with scratches. But the $5 ones, I probably made $1.50 a cup. I really didn't make much, but I'm obsessed with tumblers. That's what so that's okay. But I did like a shop the shed on Black Friday and did very well. I sold, I think, $600 in about 2 hours. I wasn't on for long on Black Friday. And that one, I hadn't looked through the stuff, and somebody's like, "You just sold a $100 coin for $12." I'm like, "Oh, don't tell me that." Like because for me, and I think that top comment said that Big Sky Jewelry said I sourced some for me on Friday. That is exactly, so my thing with my jewelry is I typically will pull if it's $50 or higher. Sometimes I'll throw in higher ones if I'm feeling froggy. So that means I typically am starting pieces that are worth $30, $35, $40, $45. I'll start them at $5. So there is room to source from my sales and make a profit. There's room there because I am trying to increase my average sales price. And I'm trying to get to mainly $50 and higher on eBay. So I'm willing to give you guys $40 items for $3. That goes to the collectibles. I start at $3 too, because I'm moving that stuff fast. So I might buy, like I did the salt and pepper shakers. We did very, very well. I sold 165 salt and pepper shakers. I think I was live for like 6 hours. Did very, very well. And a lot of those had value too. I only pulled ones worth over $50. So a lot of people got them for $3 and they're worth $30. So, I mean, that's like, if you're buying multiple, shipping is, broke up between them, you can make money off of them. And I'm okay with that because I only want to list those higher dollar and like make more. And then I can pass stuff on to you guys. I like buying a lot. Way too much. My whole truck is full right now. It's under the carport because it might rain. Like the back of the truck. The whole thing is full from auctions today. But that's going to be the same thing. I got some ornaments. I got hand-blown glass ornaments that if they're not worth $50, I'll throw them on Whatnot for cheap that are really nice. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me for Whatnot and being successful is a lot of people at the beginning were throwing just junk on Whatnot. And, like, oh, this is my inventory that's been listed 3 years. It hadn't sold. That's what I'm putting, where I, the whole time with Whatnot, have sourced just for Whatnot. It's brand new stuff. It's not stuff that's been listed. It's not stuff that's old. We did shop the shed sometimes where I just walk around with my phone, like listed stuff. And if people wanted to buy it, I'd give them like 50% off eBay. So some of that was older, but like all my jewelry has never been listed. That's stuff that I bought just for Whatnot. And it's hard when you're new because you will take some losses. That's the thing. Unless you have like an incredible source. Like I do on costume. On costume, I'm good. I'm fine starting at $3. I might only make 50 cents a piece, but I'm not losing money. But with sterling, I was losing money. And so that's why I'm like so torn, because I can find the good stuff. I just need to get over myself and say, this is a $40 start. This is a $50 start, and I've done like, I don't remember who it was. I sold a $500 pendant on Whatnot. Like I've put nice stuff in the background and said, okay, if you want to buy this, ask me about it. And I've sold the higher dollar stuff. Like I've sold Tiffany stuff, but it's hard. And I need to put that stuff and buy it now and then tell like my audience, hey, look in the buy it now. If there's higher dollar stuff you want, then I'll run it, because I can get the good stuff. It's just, I can't start it at $5 or $10. All right. But yeah, so Big Sky, that like I sold probably a $200, $250 necklace for like $40 on Friday, I think. I don't know who got it. But I threw some good, because people were bidding. If people are bidding, I'll throw good stuff up there. But I'm not going to throw it up if people aren't bidding.
Right. Makes sense.
I think there's a way to research this, isn't there? I think it's on, like, you can research it on eBay. eBay will tell you the top category. There's a way.
I feel like it's sports card, if I were to guess, or clothing.
I thought it was like shoes. Let's see. Top categories on eBay. We have lovely AI nowadays.
Clothing, electronics, health and beauty.
Yeah. Which is so
That's where
generic.
I get my hair products.
From eBay. Me too.
Where you get that horse and mane.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is like, okay, clothing and shoes. How many different brands of clothing are there? How many types of clothing are there? How many types of shoes are there? Like in any category, I don't care what it is, there's going to be stuff that'll sell good and there's going to be stuff that's going to take forever. So like the problem that you have to solve as a reseller is to find the stuff within each category, especially if you're being an everything seller, find that stuff that is good that will sell, not just what you like. You have to be careful about that. Because what you like doesn't necessarily mean what'll sell. I learned that. I still learn that over and over because I still buy what I like and it sits here for 3 years and I stare at it till it sells and it's okay. But I have room. That's the thing, guys. I have like over 5,000 square foot of space. So I can let stuff sit, and a lot of people don't have that, or they're paying for a storage unit. So I wouldn't want to pay for a storage unit for something for 3 years. You know, that would not make business sense. All right, let me see. Ellen says, in order for me to set up my existing eBay account as a seller account, do I have to list an item? I wanted to be able to set up business policies, etc. first. So I don't know. Does anybody know? I don't know if it's a seller account. I think you just have an eBay account, right? It's not like buyer or seller.
Yeah, I think so. Until you have to set it up to sell, like you have to put all your, I think there's some extra added information you gotta for selling, I believe.
I know you gotta put up for like paying out and getting paid. Like you have to have your bank account or whatever card to pay fees and to get paid.
Yeah, I don't think you have to list an item to create a seller account.
I agree.
And I will tell you, and I don't know if the chat's going to agree with me or not. This is something that I heard years ago, and it is stuck in my head for years. Stay away from business policies. I've never made one, and I never will, because somebody scared the living daylights out of me and said it ruined their store, and they couldn't figure out how to unset them. And so ever since then, I will not set business policies. So yeah, for me, why you want to set up business policies, I guess, is what I'm asking. Like, because when you do your listing, like if you set up like your how many days of handling, if you're using ground advantage or priority, eBay will remember from the last listing you made and will copy it. That's how I do all of mine. You don't have to have business policies. If you want to do business policies, then by all means do them. But I have heard not good things. Yeah, and like Marsha, see, but Power Corrupt's saying I couldn't live without him. So I think it really depends on what you've heard. And like I said, I heard it years ago and it just stuck in my head, like, don't do business policies. And I just have stuck by that. I guess I have some, because like I do free returns on everything. That's probably a business policy. I probably have some. I've just stayed away from them for shipping. That's what, that's what I don't like. All right. Bernadette's asking, I wanted to put this up here. She's asking if we've talked about the hot mess Poshmark has been, and I don't know who is anybody but me selling on Poshmark that's on the panel.
I put my Poshmark on vacation to the end of the year, so I haven't been selling in Poshmark for a while.
Yeah, I sell on Poshmark.
Have you noticed it being crazy? I know they were a bunch of stuff in the back end, and then when they switched from priority to ground advantage, and then somehow they ended a bunch of people listings. Like I heard like grapevine stuff, but
I don't know.
Have you had any issues?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm having any issues with that, because I have Nifty handling my Poshmark. So yeah, I don't think I've had that.
Getting the same amount of sales as you were?
I'm getting more sales, actually. Like some days I get more sales on Posh than I do on eBay, which is crazy. And I love the new shipping because of that.
Did you get the free shipper mailer stuff?
I haven't ordered any yet. I think you can either email or call, right?
You just email them. I think email, we have a ton. I need to reorder. But Sonny, are you selling on Posh?
Nope.
I have had more sales too. We had 12, I think it was, go out yesterday from Posh, which is a good weekend for us on Posh. So, and I got a notification that some of my listings had been ended, that they re-put them up. So I'm wondering if Poshmark thought that they had taken it down and then put it up. But that happens to me on all the platforms. Stuff will pop back up as for sale. I already sold it, and I think it glitches. I don't know where the heck it comes from. I wish I did, but I don't. Constance wants to know, for international sales, do you think increased shipping rate causes the final value fee to go up as well?
Final value fee. I really don't know. I don't know. AZ, you know?
So what increased shipping rate was there? Did they mention an
I
increase?
think the tariff probably and the import-export fees is what I would assume.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure.
I haven't had any international orders in a while, so I couldn't tell you. But I know that just because of the shipping rates, it shouldn't raise the value fee. If anything, is just international fees. And I will say most people don't do this on international labels. You're supposed to sign off on it with your name. And what I usually do on that is put like shipping tape over it, so that way it's not rubbed, because it could hit you. I faced that when I was working in the post office myself with USPS. Some things come back, and then it's a struggle with the mailer. I don't know if there are sellers when I was working there, but it would have come back because they didn't sign off on it. Some people, when they do their job, they just do a little too much, but it's also part of the guidelines of signing that international label. And you usually see it like the bottom left, there'll be two lines and they'll say signature, and do it there. So when you're doing it in person and putting a value fee, resellers do not do this. Do not put 0 for the value. Put the value that's on there. You do not want to get a strike on that. That's on their end. Is just part of it. It's not sneaky, but I've seen people do that as well. They'll put the value a lot less when on eBay they could see it's strictly not if something happens and they want a refund.
Yeah, I know somebody had told us before there's like an international fee on every international sale that is not like put out there, like really where you
Yeah, it's
know.
not noticeable.
Right.
I don't think it's a ton, but there is a fee to you as a seller for them facilitating the international sale. But any like the shipping rate, if you're doing eBay international, they're not paying that to you. So I would think that wouldn't be calculated in the fees, just whatever they're paying you to ship it to the hub. So like whatever the Ground Advantage shipping or whatever service you're using, that, because they do take the fees off, and now they take the promoted fees off of shipping as well. So those fees, like I was saying earlier, can really add up really fast. Chance is at, oh no, you're fine. What did it say? Global fees will go down?
I can't even find it anymore.
Chance wants to know, do I refund the shipping right after I create the label or later after delivery? If they have asked me, I do it right after I create the label, or my employee does. So she'll actually write it on a piece of paper and be like, person that bought the ornaments paid $23, it cost $8. And she'll tell me so I can refund them. But if it's not a big amount and they don't ask, we do not refund them, because I'm not gonna. But if it's like a $500 item and they overpaid on shipping by $100, I'll give them some of it. I'm not gonna give them all because I'm paying the fees. But the ones that ask specifically, I do it as soon as we create the label, or she messages me and tells me to. So Sandy's asking Ground Advantage or calculated shipping. So Ground Advantage is calculated shipping. Those are the same thing. Calculated shipping is just it figuring by weight and dimensions what it'll cost from your zip code to the buyers. flat rate shipping is where you put an amount. And I think personally, anybody that is not in the middle of the country and not only selling items under a pound is insane to, I think, because I'm in Florida and like that. Oh, that buyer answered me. They are in Nevada, that the shipping was crazy on the blow mold. So that is why. So for me to Vegas or me to Cali or Oregon or Seattle, the shipping is over double. So it would be like $12 on the East Coast and it's like 25 to the West. So if I did, say I did $15, but 5 times it's West Coast buyers, and most of my buyers are West Coast, I would be losing money, not just on shipping, but on the fees. I would lose out on money on the shipping and the fees. If I was just selling handkerchiefs and t-shirts that were under a pound, then it's not as big of a gap. But I sell a ton of stuff that's 2 pounds and heavier, and that gap gets bigger and bigger the heavier the items are. Like I do furniture, guys. Like we're talking $100, $200 difference. And I'm not willing to do flat rate for that. So I think maybe that's maybe what you meant. Oh,
Did you
here.
ever go through the free shipping phase on eBay?
Nope.
Never.
Oh.
Yeah, I've actually. Go ahead.
Have you done it?
No,
go
I was
ahead.
I was gonna say, so because we sell a lot of big items, and what I've learned is that with time, I've learned certain size items I can do a flat rate, because I kind of know how much it's gonna cost, and even if it's gonna like take away from my earnings a little bit, I will do it that way just because I know eBay is gonna charge them way more than the flat rate that I'm gonna offer the buyer, and I can get the sale a lot faster.
I've been marking some stuff at like 1 pound. I know is at 2, so I'm giving them like a half of a discount. I
Right.
have been doing that because I know the rates are really high right now. And I used to, all my jewelry, I'd put it 8 ounces, even though I know it's going to go at a 4-ounce rate. I don't do that anymore. I put it at straight 4 just to try and save them that little bit of money. But yeah, I'd be too worried. Now, if it's a high dollar item, I've thought about doing free shipping. Like if I'm selling it for $3,000 and I paid $300, I've thought about doing that. I haven't though. But yeah. All right. Sabina wants to know if anybody wants to share some of their reseller Christmas wish list. So she's looking at a magic shirt folding board, super close shave and fabric shaver. So she's a clothing seller. A real good, what are you dremeling? A real good Dremel with super fine sand. What are you dremeling? So is there anything like reselling related that you're wanting?
Well, I'm thinking big, but I want the Ray-Ban, the Meta glasses. I do want those. And I have an enclosed trailer, but I either want another one or like a box truck, because me and AZ's talked about this. When you're doing storage units, like if you're going to buy 2 storage units, or like if you want 2 or 3 storage units, you can go fill up your trailer or truck or whatever. Then you're like, oh, I need to go clean out another one. So I'd love to have a second trailer or like a box truck to be able to make those moves. So that's my 2 items.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I also want to do the Meta glasses. I do want a trailer. I don't have a trailer. I load everything on my Tacoma. So I was cleaning out like 2 to 3 units a week, and just like constantly going back and forth with the Tacoma. So if you're out there and you want to clean units, it's possible as long as you have a truck. But yeah, a box truck would be nice. And I want to invest more in like jewelry, like testing kits. I have like a microscope, and I have my acid testing, but I do want to invest in like a diamond tester, and also like an actual gold tester. They sell for about, I think they're about like $300 for those.
Yeah, some of the things mentioned, I was on my wish list, and I know it's the only chance I'm going to get since Whatnot has been really good to me lately because of the customers and clients. But I just got like $70 off, and it's the Generation One, and I want to use this more for vlogging than anything with my son when he gets home. Hopefully by December. We got good news this morning that he's doing better, and he finally got to 4 pounds and a few ounces over, and that was a huge milestone because he was born at 1 pound 0.05 ounces. And before he came, because we weren't expecting him until Christmas Eve, that was his due date. And I said, I really want to get back to my art. I've been talking about it for years. And I said, you know what? I'm in Vegas and I go on these trails and they're all these nice rocks. And as a reseller, I've really grown to love figurines. And I want to start doing that. So I was like, okay, well, he's not coming here by the end of the year. I'm going to invest in a Dremel. So I invested in a Dremel, and then all of a sudden he came super early at 24 weeks and 2 days, and everything is on standby. So I've been buying my gifts early because when he comes here, I just want to give him everything. But more than anything, I wanted to document like his journey for him. So when he ever gives me and his mom more gray hairs, I'm like, look, this is what you put us through. You need to take it easy. You know, I'm getting older. I'm 45, and by the time he's 20, do the math. You know, like I'm not going to be able to run around as fast as this kiddo's going to be. But I'm really excited about all of this, not just as a new dad, but as a reseller to see different ways of how can I do more for my family that I wasn't doing before. Because it's a different mentality, I believe, for people who are parents know it, or people that are you're responsible for it. My eyes are just much more wider. I'm a lot hungrier. I'm a lot more motivated. And when I'm tired, I'm like, I don't deserve to be tired. I want to do more. So I'm really excited about this new milestone that I'm reaching day in and day out.
It's so funny. Sonny said he got his Dremel. So Dalton was also in the NICU when I had Dalton, and I was going crazy because I had my baby and my baby wasn't at home with me. So I bought a Cricut and I was like making every shirts and I was making the baby outfits, and I like turned into like this crazy crafting person. That was before I really started my eBay. I started my eBay because of having Dalton and wanting to be home more with him. But I had like, and anybody that knows me, I do nothing small. So I had like a big rack with like all of the different colors of vinyl, and had my Cricut and had all these blank shirts, and like I still have a ton of resin stuff. If somebody does resin and wants some resin supplies, please email me. I will sell you some cheap. Because I did too. And I can do nothing small. And having like the motivation, like Sonny's talking about, like Dalton was in here with me earlier when we were selling the tumblers. He'll come and sit. If he doesn't have school the next day, he's out here when we're doing the podcast as well. He's in bed now. But like until he went to school, and some might have been watching then, because I started the channel when he was a year old, and like we would travel to see our friends. Like Julian was my first like main co-host here, Bearded Thrift Machine. We would go up to South Carolina to Myrtle Beach to see Julian. We would go see Crazy Lamp Lady. She's one of my closest friends in Pennsylvania. Like we were all over. Me and that baby like drove. We drove and we went all over the country and we went sourcing, and then he started school and now I can't travel as much. But I'm able to be home with him. I'm able to take him to school every day. I'm able to pick him up. If he's sick, I can leave whatever the heck I'm doing. And Dalton wasn't small. Dalton was not small. He was not early. He just had he had breathing issues. I think they over anesthetized me as a nurse in the OR, and it ended up messing up his breathing, and we lost 3 babies before him. So having the one that I did have go to NICU was super, super stressful. And yeah, so I told Sonny, I shared this with him. My nephew had a baby at the same time who was a pound as well, and who was exactly Dalton's age and doing incredible. This kid is super smart. He's playing sports. He is just doing wonderful. And he was a pound as well. So I'm getting chills even talking about it. But like the technology is incredible with those babies. And just like Dalton was only there 2 weeks. So I didn't have the, month-long process to deal with it, but it drove me crazy for 2 weeks not having him. And like Sonny talks about Carla pump, like I pumped the whole time he was in the NICU. I pumped while I was working 15-hour shifts, and it just, yeah. So it's much easier to be home. All right.
Much easier.
As far, did I not answer? I didn't, like, did you answer for Reseller, or did you answer?
I did. I showed them off. I got 2 of them.
You already got them. Yeah. Okay. I'm like losing my mind. I would love an enclosed trailer. Reality is I'm probably not going to get one unless my accountant tells me I need to spend a bunch of money, which he does sometimes at the end of the year. Cause I'm just like Esteban, like my F-150 right now is like smack full and under the carport, so stuff doesn't get wet. But like, I would say 9 times out of 10, I can do it with the truck. So that's why I haven't like made the leap to get one, because I could get one. But the only time we've needed one is when I did the house clean outs and I just rented a U-Haul for the day and it was fine. So I'm like, do I want this expense of a trailer and tagging it, you know, and I might need it once every 3 months. I did the house clean outs as a test to see if I should do storage units, and the answer to that is no, because the house clean outs are still in my barn and I have not looked through any of it, and I did them 4 months ago. I haven't touched the stuff. It's sitting out, and my barn is not climate controlled, so there's probably stuff getting ruined by the day out there. But I knew, and like we had Shannon then. Like right now I only have 1 employee. I had 3 and I'm down to 1. And so we just didn't have, I don't have the manpower, and I don't want to put out that much more for employees, because like with me, YouTube's a full-time job. I have 2 channels, you know, eBay's a full-time job, and I'm trying to do live sales now. So it's like I have 3 jobs and I don't have time to go through a house clean out. Like, I don't know how you guys do the storage units without a lot of help, like unless you're fast sorting it and just dumping stuff.
I think that's
can't.
a good question for them.
Yeah, like, so how do you do it?
How do you do your storage units?
How many people are doing it? Like, how do you do it? And how do you process it and move through it, especially if you're buying them frequently?
So me personally, when I get a unit, I first quickly just kind of observe what I'm dealing with. There are times where I put everything in my trailer and I'll do a live unboxing on Whatnot. I'll back it in my driveway, put a cover up, like if it's blazing hot, and I'll just go through the box doing a live Whatnot. But I'll usually pop open the boxes just to kind of get an idea of what I have. So if it's really, really bad and I know it's going to be a ton of trash, I'll sort trash. I'll bring bins, put everything that's whatnotable in bins, donations separated on site. There are times, it all depends on the size of the unit, whether you got furniture, sometimes you can buy a unit full of mainly bins and boxes. Sometimes it's bags of trash, paperwork. So it's a lot of sort. You can either sort it on site, bring it home to sort it. I actually have a storage unit of my own. But probably not too long ago, I started doing some live unboxing for Whatnot. And I'll run pretty much everything that I open, unless it's just too big, and I'll put it in a bin where I'm at, and just if it's donatable or it's just not worth running on Whatnot. So there's so many ways to tag. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work, but you can really do.
Value wise, or are you giving them whatever? Or are you starting like higher value item, a higher start rate, or how do you do that? Like if you see something you know is worth $200 in that box, what are you doing with it?
I start everything at $2, regardless.
Do you pull if you know it's a $200 item, or if you found gold?
No, that's the only thing I've pulled. Like I've literally unwrapped a piece of tissue paper, or actually it was like an old paper towel or something that had like an old Disney character. I unwrapped it live, and they were marked gold necklaces, and of course I put them to the side. But anything else, I ran.
Did they see that and you just said, "Hey, it's gold. I'm not selling it," or did they not
Yeah,
see that?
because I mean, you can just say like it needs to be tested, because there is marked chains and gold, whatever. So you don't want to take that chance, right? Or if you unbox a Louis Vuitton, I'm not running that because you need to get it
Authenticated.
But if it's like a Coach purse, I don't know. Sometimes I've sold so many purses and types of Coach purses. Some other brands that I've already sold that. So I run them. I've unboxed Hen on Nest. I've unboxed all kind of nice glass. I just run it, and usually people love live unboxing. So I've had anywhere from 100 to 150 people in a room if I'm doing live unboxing. So the buyers are usually there. Or sports cards, I just run them. So, but it's not always live unboxing. The last unit I just got, it was full of Y2K clothing and Jordan shoes and like a whole shoe collection. And I basically separated all the Polo Ralph Lauren. It was over 100 pieces of Polo Ralph Lauren. Did a whole whatnot on it.
Mm-hmm.
I did a $2,500 whatnot on Polo Ralph Lauren by itself.
Did you start all that at
$2? Yep. I sold some shirts for $40 and $50. That was some of the style Polo Ralph Lauren. Some of them sold for $3. I paid $320 for the unit, so I didn't care. I did enough. That's the thing about storage units and buying bulk. This is my main thing, right? So I buy really, really cheap because at that point I don't care what I run everything at $2. So usually I'll get my return on investment pretty quick. So that's why I do everything cheap. Now I do source sometimes from like estate sales and I'll pay up. But because we run a little train.
So if you source and pay up, where does that go? Does that go on Whatnot for $2 too?
$2, yep. Or $1. It depends on if I'm on a big train. I actually co-host a big train with Bearded Thrifter, and we do it every Thursday night. And it's usually just 20-minute spots, and they're usually pretty much bring heat. And I run everything at $1. He runs everything everybody that's on the train runs everything at $1. But we only do 7 sellers, but it's only 20-minute spots, and we have anywhere from 100. We've had up to 400 people in each person's room. So usually the people are there. Sometimes people get deals, sometimes they don't. I mean, it just depends. So, but yeah, I'm either starting at $1 to $2. That's where I'm at. I just let it roll. Let it rip.
Sell them all. Sell everything, he says.
Let it go. I've sold $300 items for $30 to $40 before. It's just, but I get it.
If I get it in then or whatever, because you got it in storage unit, then that's kind of whatever. And like that's me with like if I don't pay much, but when I'm paying up to get the good stuff, that's when it kills me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but see, people are expecting that from me, so that's what I offer.
That's what you do. See, and that's how I feel too, because I've been doing that for so long. So I'm like, what are people gonna do if here I come out with a $40 or $50 start, even if it's a $200 item? Are they gonna have a fit, or am I gonna build a different audience for the higher dollar? And I just haven't been okay with taking that chance.
You can also have your main type shows, right? And then you can also say you got 100 pieces that you want to do a vintage decor type show. Or if you can do it often, right? You do it every week or two. Just be consistent with that and you'll get that traffic, and just set your prices higher and you'll have the people to pay it.
Yeah, that's been my problem because I have so much going on. I can't schedule and I can't do a certain day and a certain time because I never know. And I know that's how I built my YouTube channel. Like I know the whole consistent, like this show every Tuesday for 5 years. People are here. They know we're here. They know it's Tuesday at 8. So I know if I started doing shows every whatever day at whatever time, people would come. I just can't, like, there's no
Right.
day and time that I can commit to as a problem.
Yeah.
Esteban, how are you moving yours? Same kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of similar. And I think like what Chad does, it brings those people back for him, you know, with him running items like $300 items at $2, that brings people back to your shows. And I've learned a lot from storage units. In the beginning, I would go to the unit and I would basically sort it all and then donate whatever I felt wasn't good enough or whatnot. And it's changed now. So now what I do is I basically bring everything to the house, and I also bring the furniture because I have like a side yard where I store all the good furniture and I store yard sale items. So I have one big yard sale like once a month, and that's where I'll sell like my toasters, my blenders and stuff like that. And I make, sometimes we'll make about $1,000 on a weekend just from yard sale stuff. So on my shows, my shows are a little bit different. I like to curate my shows a little more so I know what my buyers are looking for, and I try to pick those items out from the storage units, but I'm also buying stuff from yard sales and flea markets to add to those shows. And then if I have like a banger item or an item that I know multiple people are going to be interested in, and I want a little bit more for it, I'll put it in. I'll take a picture of it, and I'll do maybe 4 or 5 pieces, and I'll set them up for pre-bid. So I'll let people pre-bid on that item while the show is going on. And after 30 minutes to an hour, I'll run one of those items. And I usually get some good bids on that.
Yeah, he brought up being on there for like an hour, and that's like almost the minimum for them. And especially for me, it was Bearded Thrift who encouraged me to go longer. When I made an hour, to me, I felt like that was my comfort zone, and after that, I felt uncomfortable. But him being in the show said, like, it's just an hour. You're just getting started. Keep going. So he gave me advice on it, and I had time, so I figured why not, you know. So I went for it. I ended up doing 2 hours, and I almost tripled the amount that I was making, and I'm averaging when I have over let's say about 2 hours, I'm selling around 140 something items. And a lot of these items, I've been telling you, I haven't had time to do anything. So they've been sitting around even before I had time to do it. I just never got around to it. And I've been able to move items faster. But like Kat asked earlier, what do you do with that $200 item? You know, you could either do what Esteban does, and that bracelet I mentioned earlier, the patina silver nice bangle turquoise bracelet, like people were asking for it, and he would just simply say, I'm waiting a little longer, check it out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look in the store and whatnot. And it's the same thing like when people message me on YouTube like, hey, what are you going to sell that for? Most of the time I haven't even looked it up yet because I haven't had the time, which I haven't had the time to make videos. But there's nothing wrong of saying like, I'm going to sell it, but just not right now because you want more attention. And in the way they're helping you get that. And that sucker still, I think it was at $240 from when I seen it, but because it was being brought up and people were looking at it and being interested in it, it ended up going for much more. Like more bids still came in when he started running it. So my point to that is that these valuable items that I'm not comfortable with, you know, selling like that at $3, you don't have to do it at $3 or $2 or even $1. You could list it where you want and see. You could also have static listings on Whatnot the same way as eBay and other platforms. So I am delisted everything on eBay, but I still want to sell on eBay. But the glass, for me, the high value items is going to go on Knickknacks. I am very comfortable on there. It's a curated place.
Static or live sales?
Static. But I could do both on Knickknacks. I could have both on that. And I feel a lot more comfortable on there because of the people that are on there. You rarely get anybody that's trying to test people on Knickknacks. I'm sure people have tried, but it's such a great platform. I just know where things fit better for what I'm selling. And everybody has different things. It's just up to you to figure out. And I always say this about reselling. Don't feel so prideful to where eBay is your go-to. You know, if it's not working for you, branch out to something else and test it out and give it time to see how it's going to work. So I am starting overs on eBay's with just apparel. Knickknacks would be my higher value items of glass, and then whatnot would be more of like, let me just get out of this and not have my wife kill me and pull my hair out for things sitting around like they used to. I just want to get better at my business, and the only way of doing that is getting more organized and knowing that I have to pretty much attack reselling on the platforms of like I'm scheduled. Back to what Chad was saying, I've been very active on whatnot since I've been back, and it makes a huge difference because on Mondays are my shows, and I get my regular customers, and I always have a few more people come in. And then either Thursdays or Fridays, depending on how my son's doing and what they have going on with him, that dictates Thursday or Friday for my evening shows, and that's doing pretty good too. And one more thing I've been trying on whatnot is that I've been going live. I've just been unboxing orders that I've got from whatnot and promoting those people that I bought from those other sellers. And it's pretty amazing and funny at the same time that I get more people that just want to hang out with me and see what I'm getting than buy anything. But it's also a great way that I've been maximizing on is that I got their attention to, hey, go bookmark my up and coming shows. So I'm not always selling something, but in a way I am is just a lot more softer of what I'm trying to figure out that I haven't tried before. And it's working pretty good.
Yeah, like my Black Friday, I hadn't been through that stuff. It was boxes like you guys were set. And I started everything at $2 because it was Black Friday. I'm like, I haven't looked it up. I don't know. And then they're telling me it's 100. And then I'm like, I'm kind of torn because I'm like, well, I did really good doing it that way. It was almost an unboxing because it's been sitting in the box here for months. I don't know what's in there. Me personally, if I show something on camera, I'm running it. Like my last Knickknacks jewelry show, I'm like, what does that say? And it was a Tiffany & Co. I'm like, I showed it, $2. Here you go.
Yeah.
It did not sell for that much. But if I bring it in front of the camera, I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to pull it. That's just like my own like personal beliefs. I think if I show it, I should sell it. No matter what, like, I'm like, it hurts sometimes, but with those boxes, it's kind of twofold. I'm like, do I want to spend the time to look up every single item? Because a lot of the stuff that's high dollar, you would never know. You would not know unless you're running it. Like it was a coin that somebody said was worth $100. I wouldn't have known that. They're like, oh, that comped at $100. I'm like, oh. So I would have to literally look up every item in the box. Or do I want to just say it's been sitting there for over 6 months? I'm going to let the other people get the deals and I'm going to make what I make, which is what I did Friday and did well. So I might. And I saw a few of you saying you're doing good on static sales on Knickknacks, which is interesting to me because I was doing static when I first started and I was not getting any sales at all. I was only making sales on live sales. So it's good to hear that you guys are getting static sales on Knickknacks. I'm happy to hear that for sure. And I would like to go live on Knickknacks too. Again, it's like a time thing. And then like for me, and I'm sure like a lot of other people, like if we're social media, like influencers or whatever you want to call it, people want me. They don't want my employee. And that's the problem is, yes, I can hire somebody to do those live sales, but it's not me. So those sales don't do as well. And so that's kind of been my thing is trying to figure out when to do it. But as far as Sonny, like you were saying that 2 hours was my go-to when I did whatnots. I found I did best at like the 2 hour mark, but I don't remember how long I ran Black Friday. I stopped to raid Sonny because I knew he was live and I didn't want to be selling at the same time as him. So I went and raided him. And then the salt and pepper shakers, 6 hours. I didn't eat. I didn't go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay. Cause I would show what I had left. And I'm like, no more. Like once I run everything we pulled, like, that's it, guys. I just cut like 6 hours is crazy. I'm out here in the shed. Like I'm not in the house where I can be like, hold on, I'm going to the bathroom. Like nothing, sitting out here in the shed. So yeah. All right. Carol wants to know, do I pay my employee per item photographed? I have someone who is willing to help me by taking pictures for listing. I'm trying to decide what is a fair pay rate. So I have one full-time employee now is all I have. And she is paid hourly. I actually, and it's nice because my payroll is not as high anymore because my daughter, my 23-year-old, got a job not for me. And so I'm not having to pay her. And then Shannon is staying home with her kids and helping her parents with their business. So I don't have her anymore. And so I actually, and she doesn't know, she doesn't watch my podcast, but I actually paid her for Thanksgiving. I've never paid an employee for a holiday. She won't know until Friday. But I had that wiggle room and sales have been good that I could pay her for the holiday, and I've never been able to do that. So I'm kind of stuck. So I don't want to say what I pay her hourly. I will tell you I have paid per item, not for photographs though. I paid them to make a draft, and I would pay them $2 per draft is what I did. And I'm actually thinking of implementing. So what I did with I went to the high school. They have the work program. If the kids have enough credits, they get like half the day off and they can work, and you just have to fill out about their performance. I got one of my best employees from the high school. Like, they called me with her. I paid her $2 a listing. She was so fast, I had to limit her. I'm like, you can only do 20 a day, because she would do like 100. She was fast. The high school kids are on the technology, and they can make those listing like nobody's business. Beware. If they're fast, like, I could do 100 listings for you in a day, and you're going to be paying me $200. So beware. Yeah. Now my full-time employee, right? I do it right. But that was the thing with her too, is we would go back and I would have her fix it. If she missed a photograph or missed a measurement, she had to go back and fix it because I'd already paid her for the listing. And she was coming 5 days a week. So I did $2 a listing per draft. And I think hourly though, I mean, a minimum wage in Florida is going up to $15 an hour, I think, here soon. I know some places are probably higher than that. I haven't looked what like the national, what is it in Vegas? What's minimum wage in Vegas?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
I don't pay attention to anybody but what my goals are, to be honest. And this goes as far as like with my wife. I don't even know how much she gets paid. It's not my business. Her bank account.
That is your business. That's your wife.
No, it's not. Her account is her account. My account is her account, but it's also not even my account.
I'm so used to being like the sole provider. It's always been like me. But I would say like $15 to $20 an hour. But you got to look at their speed. You got to look at, you could have somebody doing 2 listings an hour and then you're paying them $10 a listing. So my people that were slow, I put them on per listing. I said, okay, I'm going to pay you per listing. If you're fast, I want to pay you by the hour. So be careful. I mean, and that's just business sense, right? And I might end up having to get, if our sales stay like they are, I'm going to have to get another employee. He's saying it's 1666 where she's at. And I want to tell you guys too, because everybody's like so gung-ho on employees. I have to pay workman's comp every month, which is several $100s, even with just one employee by law. I have to match her FICA and her Medicaid taxes. So whatever I pay her by the hour, I pay her. I pay out more for that because I have to pay all of that. So everybody's so like wanting to get employees. In Florida, you legally cannot 1099 somebody who's doing listings for you. They're using your merchandise and they're using your phone or whatever to photograph it. So it's illegal to 1099 somebody for doing listings. So then you have to get a payroll company. So I have to pay monthly for payroll. And I think a lot of people don't think about this. Like, they don't think about it. There are just so many fees with employees. Yeah, see, Connecticut's going up to $17. No, so Sean, that's what I'm talking about. A subcontractor is a 1099 employee, and in Florida, it is illegal to do that. You would have to check with your state, but in Florida, it is not legal to do that. So I think
that is still like $725. That's crazy.
It's only $7.
I'm gonna double check. But last time I looked, Texas was still like $7.25
That's
minimum wage.
great. I want what? Hold on. Now we're gonna have to learn what is. I'm gonna see what California minimum wage is.
Yeah,
$7.25.
California's like 20 something, I think.
1650, but
Wow.
fast food workers as of April 2024 have a minimum of $20 an hour in California.
Their rent is high. Cost of living is
Oh, it's
crazy, I think.
I had friends who took travel jobs, and we would make, like, as an RN, I would make over $100 an hour in California, but the cost of living is triple. So I would be making 2.5 times, but the cost of living is triple. So I'd actually be losing money by taking an assignment to California. That $7.25 still, Oklahoma, North Carolina. So it depends on where you live. Like, so my high school student was totally happy with the $2 an hour or $2 per listing because she could do 20 listings in like an hour. And she just made $40 in an hour at 15. Hey, and she did good listings. So it really depends on the person, but beware that if you are doing it legally, you're going to have a payroll company or pay for QuickBooks to do payroll or whatever the heck you're going to do, because and I would love, I can't do it without my employee. And like I said, I'm going to have to get another one. I'm going to have to suck it up. Because we shipped out 112 yesterday, and it took both of us until she got off packing. I was like, oh, I'm going to help you pack so you have time to list today. Yeah, no, we were packing because I did Whatnot sales over the weekend plus 100 going out between the other platforms, and there was no time to list. So if our sales are picking up or I'm doing more lives, she's not going to have enough time to pack and list, which means I'm going to need another person.
This is why I love the part of reselling, because even when I was mainly not on Whatnot, I was just on eBay. Even before Knickknacks, I was still making more money in a few days, or even one day would make as much as I did in 2 weeks. And now that I'm doing Whatnot and moving things a little faster, like I've been looking at some of my sales, and at minimum, my slowest one was yesterday was $149, and that was just a little over an hour. And I just think to myself, like, it's slow, but it's also money I didn't have. And the other days where I'm promoting it better, like, I'm seeing the difference. And that was the big difference, I think, for me from yesterday, is that I didn't promote it. I just didn't have enough time. And I need to make time for it to be like, make a video, do like Chad and Esteban do. They're really good at this. On social media, they show what they have, what's coming up, and they have that flow of what to expect. And it's not like you see a video now from today and it's from a week ago. No, it's coming up, or they have it. They're very present in their content, and I like that. I pick their brains without them even knowing it, and it makes a world of difference. So just the other day with reselling, before I closed eBay, 3 weeks ago, for the last 3 weeks, I would say I was probably averaging, within 13 hours of packing and selling together, I was averaging around $225 an hour, just in the time that I was putting selling, packing, and that was it. Like that. That's freaking amazing when you start looking at these minimum wages or what you're getting paid at jobs. And this is the reason why Kat the Nurse Flipper, has done so good for herself to leave it. And who knows what Chad and Esteban's reasons are to be like, I'm going to be doing this all the time. It's just very impressive what you could do just by learning and just giving yourself a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, and I used to do a lot better. Like you're saying, they did the videos. Like when I did my previews, and like Esteban was saying, he curated, I would do the same thing. So I would have like all my gemstone jewelry together. I would lay it out in trays, and I would do, a reel on it, post it up on Facebook, post it up on Instagram. I haven't gotten really into TikTok, but I would be like, my shows were a lot better. And I also used to catalog, but I found that cataloging just didn't pay off for me. So, but I could still do the previews if I laid the stuff out. But I think people like the random pulling out of boxes too. So it's kind of Like if you guys are doing that where you're randomly pulling out of boxes, are you just videoing like the tops of the boxes to show them, or what would you do when you're just pulling stuff like that?
Oh, now I just post it. I'm doing a whatnot tonight. I don't even really.
You don't
Yeah,
show
I'm
like what you're gonna have.
no, unless it's some kind of crazy train that people want you. The conductors want you to pre-list items. I might do it then, but majority of the time, I'm just making just saying I have a whatnot tonight or something like that.
And is that
And then
because you have the
sometimes I
following?
don't.
You think you don't need to anymore?
Yeah, I think I'm at the point I don't really need, because I used to do it like a whole video. I might get on there and talk and be like, "Hey, I'm doing a whatnot night." Usually now I'm just putting it in my story or on my what is it where you can just put up there where people can see, "Hey, I'm having a whatnot tonight" or something. Yeah, I'm just now at around 12K followers. So over the last few months, I've grown pretty good. So it's kind of like I don't really have to now. If I remember to do it, I'll do it. Just so, I mean, I don't even have that much of a following on TikTok. I only got like 3,000 something followers. And I just started on Facebook. So I only got a couple hundred. So, you know, I don't rely on it, but it's, if somebody's scrolling and they see it up there by your name, you're having a whatnot, maybe they'll come through or hit your link in the bio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I like to promote. I like to do the videos. I feel like they really help me. Um, I'm getting close to like 5,000 followers on whatnot. So, but I like doing the videos, and I'll post my video that I post on TikTok. I'll bring it over to whatnot, and I'll use a clip of it as like a thumbnail video. And what I also like to do is in the title I like to put like all the items that are going to be in the show. So if I have Pokemon cards, cameras, glass, I'll put all of that in that title, and I feel like that brings in those type of buyers.
Yeah,
And you
I
feel
have
it's
not
okay to do
done.
like the big mix like that? Sorry, Sonny.
No, good.
Yeah, like a mix on the like on my shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'll have people that come and buy glass, and I have people that come and buy video games. So it's a mixture. Like they love, and my tables. Like I'll set up my tables where all like it's a strategy for me where I'll set up like say a piece of glass, and then right next to it I'll set up a vintage toy, and then next to it I'll set up um I don't know, like a knife, like a pocket knife. So it'll be an item for every type of person, and it keeps people in your show as you're going through the items.
And are you running what they ask, or are you just like letting them see that so they stay?
So I'll scan the table and I'll show them what I'm going to be running. And then I'll start on one table and I'll just keep going throughout the whole table. Now, if somebody asks me, hey, can you run that item that was on the other table? I'll run it right there because it'll hype the people up in the chat. So I'll run that item, but I'll go back to my table and just keep going uh, one after the other.
Yeah, and he'll guide them verbally in there because he's facing the items. He'll do in his videos that he creates. He does like a pan. He'll show like the items that he's gonna have on the whatnot, and it'll just be an easy layout. It is not complicated, but it's very divided so you could see these items. And then when he runs his items, he'll start on something pan during his live, and then he'll start working on an area, and then he will say, "We're gonna scan the table right now," because there's always people coming in and out to show them what's going on in case they are not following them on, say, on social media. And then he'll pull one of these items, and after he does that, maybe one or two, or he feels comfortable, that I've noticed, he'll then say, we're going to go back to running these items, or something, we'll come back to it, let me know. So now like people are patient and they'll wait. And I feel sometimes because my audience is smaller, And again, these numbers don't matter, folks. Not really. You just got to get the right people to come in and see the right things, be the right place, the right time. Because I have over, I think it's like 17,400 people on YouTube. It does not all go to a selling platform. Not everybody wants to buy.
No.
They just want to follow your content and learn from it and enjoy it. And on Whatnot, I don't have as much as them, and I'm working on it, and it's showing these little things that I'm picking from them, like guiding them through the sell. This is what I have. I'm going to bring this up later. I'm doing ornaments right now, but I also have cameras because that has done very well. And sometimes it doesn't. But just because people aren't interested in it, nobody's asking for it, does not mean that it loses value. You just have to have that patience of saying, I know what it's worth, and you want what you want for it to either price it up or price it on a platform for what you want for it. So there's no one way of doing things. You could have these separate listings and not just do auctions starting at $2. So it's really fun. It's fascinating. And once you start getting your people come in, it goes back to reinforcing I'm on every day at this time or doing my best, and not follow me on Instagram so that way you know the updates because things are going on. For example, myself, things that are going on. And for some people that are aware of this and some people that aren't, because sometimes life happens, you're just busy. So it's good to be verbally informing them and knowing where they could find you. Bookmark my next shows. That's another one. Simple one, but very effective.
Yeah, and I need to try and make I used to do this, like even if I rescheduled, like make a jewelry show that's sitting there and be like, hey, I might have to reschedule it, but you can bookmark it. So when I do go live, you'll be notified. And like if I'm doing like a vintage collectibles or whatever. And like you were in the Starbucks show. I tried to do Starbucks on Black Friday. Sonny bought some and Miss Linda bought some. That was it. But then I scheduled it for tonight. I'm like, okay, let some of these people that actually like the Starbucks and are Starbucks collectors find it. I only had 14 bookmarks, but I sold, I think, 25 of my 30 cups tonight, or 25 of 32. And yeah, so just like, I wish I had the time to go regular because I know that would build it up. And I have 12,000 followers on Whatnot. I have 120,000 here, and I only get 20 people in my shows because I'm not being consistent. They don't know when I'm coming. They don't know what the heck I have. I haven't like done all sterling. I haven't done all costume. I just threw in Starbucks tumblers and then I sold out of a box. Like I haven't had any type of consistency to it to build up a certain type of buyer is the problem that I see, or always doing everything. I haven't done that either. So like people came in when I was doing collectibles and wanted jewelry because that's my main thing that I do on there. And so I ended the show with an hour of jewelry. I did like an hour collectibles, ended with an hour of jewelry, did very well with that. So, I mean, I might try and do that because I need to clear some of the collectibles. All right. I want to give Sarah, we're over time. Tyler came in. I need to go in with Dalton. But I'm going to give it Sarah my turtle super chat because I haven't got to play it in forever. And then I'm going to let these guys tell you bye, and we'll tell you who's going to be on next week and where you can find me and Sonny too. So here is your turtle, Sarah. All right. Dun, da, da, da. We were talking, but I think that was good. Like, I know not everybody live sells, but a lot of people do. And I think that's good talk. All right. So here's Chad. And then I will let you see Esteban, and then me and Sonny will tell you.
So y'all make sure y'all go follow me on all the platforms. I'm really trying to build up. And even here, give me a follow. I'm gonna at some point post some videos on here and be active. But on Facebook, especially Facebook, TikTok, and Whatnot. If you like a fun time, come over to Whatnot. We do cut up. I have a live chat that's always cutting up. So yeah, I have plenty of shows. You can go bookmark. Sometimes I might move them around, but you will still get the notification. But yeah, follow me around. Follow me on all the platforms, and thank y'all for letting me join tonight. It's been a pleasure and it's been fun. I appreciate you.
Perfect. Here's Esteban.
Hey guys, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Kat and Sonny for letting me join you guys tonight. And thank you guys in the chat. I just want to encourage you guys and let you guys know that it is possible if you guys are new resellers. Just keep going. All you got to do is stay consistent and be out there, put yourself out there, and network. I've learned a lot from Chad. Chad is a great guy. Make sure you guys follow him. If you guys want to follow me too, I have some long videos here on YouTube. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Sonny, what do you got going on?
Same old, but I just want to hype these guys up again because I really like them. They're really good guys. They have really good people. Shout out Saving Jennifer up in the chat as well. And there's other ones too. DW, like there's just a crew of us, a growing crew that's like it's like you don't have to bring anything to the party to have a good time. Like these are those type of people, and I respect them a lot, especially with what they're doing. On Thursdays, Chad talked about it. They do a raid train, and it's probably like a few weeks out of people going on there, and they're networking. Like they're making that available for people with what they've built up together with Chad and Bearded Thrift, of bringing people on and trying to show people like there's more people out here, support them. And I've seen people during these 20-minute raid trains, right? Like sell like nearly 100 items in 20 minutes. It's just getting it down and working through it and saying like, you got to give to receive, right? And I think the biggest payoff is just do for others the way you want done for yourself. Like you want people to support you. You got to do that too. It's not a one-way street, and it has to be genuine. That I always tell people. But thank you all, folks. It's a great show. I love having these two guys on. We're gonna try to bring more people. We have a short list. We got to start getting more names out in a couple of weeks. So we've been slacking a little bit, but we're gonna bring more people, fun, amazing people like Chad and Esteban. So I hope you enjoyed them as much as I was excited to have them on. So that's it. Just want to say,
yeah.
Are
you same name on Whatnot, Kat?
Yeah, mine's the Nurse Slipper everywhere. I keep saying I'm gonna try and do TikTok, and I talk too much for TikTok is my problem. But next week we're gonna have Erin Rebel Junk. I saw her in the chat a little bit ago, and Julie from Fabric and Treasure. She hasn't been on before, so somebody else new for you guys. Like Sonny said, we are trying to get new people. Whether you have a YouTube channel or not, if you're comfortable coming on answering questions and have the experience and can answer, you're more than welcome to message Sonny or myself. And thank you to Chad and Esteban and Sonny for bringing them on. We had a great show. And I will have a video out tomorrow of what sold. I did a $7,000 week on eBay, close to it last week. So it's a little bit long. Nice. And then I researched Amber and something else. I don't even remember now. I forgot. But watch out for those. And thank you guys. And in the chat as well. We cannot do it without you. We are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thank you guys. Bye.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers.